Ghana Talks Radio, #1.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
This is Ghana Talks Radio,
the
best station rocking the nation.
Do you want a breakfast? English breakfast. French fry.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto. Wachi.
Well, Gobe is the real deal. Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues,
entertainment, sport, and all trending stories live on our mobile app, and also follow us on our socials at Ghana Talks Radio.
From Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with me, Pakwesi Obare,
Deborah Adolso,
Regina Bliss,
and I am Estinon. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, lovely listeners of Ghana Talks Radio. It's yet another beautiful, brand new day, and you are welcome to Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. This is your go-to platform for insightful discussions and informed perspective on the latest headlines making waves in the news. As usual, I am your host, Estinam Fiagbedu, and joining me today in the studios for a news headlines review is Miss Regina Bless and Miss Debbie Yadoso. Good morning, my lovely panelists.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
We are doing good.
Hope you slept well. I'm good.
Right.
I'm good. I slept well today. Yeah, what of you?
I also slept so.
Miss Debbie, I love your pink dress.
Thank you.
You are looking cute this morning. Alright, so let's delve into our top headlines for today. Government reviewing free SHS feeding program. Deputy Education Minister designates. The Deputy Minister of Education designates Clement Abbas Apak has announced that the government is reviewing the feeding program under the free senior high school policy to address ongoing challenges. During his briefing before Parliament's Appointments Committee, Mr. Apak said the current arrangements for feeding students is temporary as the government has yet to present its first budget. He explained that, for now, school heads have been given funds to procure food for students. Mr. Apak said the current measure is to provide resources to school heads to purchase food while a long-term plan is developed. This is a temporary arrangement until the John Dramani Mahama-led government presents its first budget. Mr. Apak did not give details on the plan adjustments, but suggested that changes could be introduced in the upcoming national budget. So this is Mr. Clement Apak, who was before the vetting committee yesterday, and he has given us assurance that government is reviewing free SHS feeding program This is what he has to say about that. He has not given us more details into it yet, but he said it will be added to the first budget the Germany-led government will read. So this is what he has to say. What do you have to say?
That's a good one, because the free senior high school feeding program, I mean, it came with a lot of hitches, where students sometimes they run out of food, of which they are forced to eat foods that are not balanced. Because if we will be sincere enough, we've come across, or I have come across, a lot of videos where students are being served eba with soup, and when you look at the soup, you can actually see your face in the soup. And then some of these head teachers complain and claim that there are shortage of food in the schools, and so the only option they have is, to make the gari eba. And some also complain that there is not enough fund to help them acquire more food. But a situation also occurred when they also complained that the minister in charge of that is not doing her work very well. That one should lie aside. And we also saw videos where some of the food staffs were taken by head teachers themselves into their own house and shared among themselves and their relatives, while the students go hungry. And so reviewing the free feeding program is a very good one, and I hope that the measures put in place is going to tackle all these hitches, because the government can actually, as he said, it's a temporary one, because they would like to go more into it and then make sure that they put things in order, right? And then funds have been allocated to these schools to ensure that for this temporary moment, while they are putting things in order, food is being given. But my problem is this: the money that has been given out, I know my people, and they know themselves as well. Are they going to use that money to buy food for the students? Are they going to do it? I know some will do it, and I know some will also share the money, and I know some will divide the money. Because the government can actually do his best, but when it gets to the ground and then they are not using the money for what they are supposed to use for, it makes it as if the government is not doing his part. So I started by saying that the government is doing well, but by saying they want to review the feeding program because it's necessary. Going to school is not only about learning. The conducive environment counts. What you even eat also counts, because when you don't eat and then you go into classroom, whatever the teacher teaches is 90 square 9, is it 90 log 1 something square 90 log 1 or something. So giving out the money is good, but my question and my problem now is, I know my people and they know themselves. The money going to be used for its purpose? And so what he is saying, they are putting things in place, is a good one. But I'm also pleading with them that as they are putting things in place, they should ensure that the allocated funds are used for its purposes. And those times they used to get people that go around the schools to ensure that when the food are distributed, they ensure that yes, we are in this school, have you gotten your part? And then they talk to the students. But it gets to a time I realize that it looks like those people that goes to the ground, even they themselves cry, they take some of the food, some. And so there is no way they will come out to tell us the truth. So reviewing the feeding program is a very, very good one. There are a lot to do, because Chito Senior High School, I've seen where a head teacher packed boxes of tin tomatoes in a taxi a whole box, say 5 or 10 boxes of tin tomatoes and foodstuffs that are meant for students. They are now taking it home and sharing among themselves. So I'm also hoping that all these issues will be addressed as well, because if these issues are not addressed, the government might try its possible ways of making sure that everything is in place, but there will still be some sort of question mark, which will make the people think as if, even though they came out to say this, but they are doing the other way around. So I feel like once they are putting things in place, they should also take note of this as well, because so far as the students are in school and it's free, doesn't mean they will not eat. They have to eat, and you and I will testify of the kind of food they are being fed there. And so this is a very, very, very good one. But I'm pleading that this small things that are making it not to stand well, I mean, they should ensure that it is done.
Okay.
And then, when the feeding program came, students in the crèche level were also fed. I don't know whether you know.
Correct.
Yes, primary school, especially when it has to do with government schools.
But what he's speaking about right now is for
free senior high school. Okay, so we even with the free senior high school, we have people, some caterers, that normally they use their money into it, and then the government pays them back. I don't know whether you know that.
I haven't seen anyone coming out to make such allegations.
Previous years, caterers came out to complain that they were not being paid because they've employed them, and then it's like you use your own money into the feeding program, and then afterwards the government will pay you, but they've used their money and then they are not being paid. So these are some negative aspects I have noticed, and I feel like what they are doing is the right thing, but they should ensure that all these things are being tackled so that it don't reoccur again. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Regina.
Okay, so the government's plan to review and improve the free feeding program, is a step to the right direction. When this free SHS initiative started, people applauded it, others criticized it, and also when the feeding program also came, people applauded it and others also criticized it, criticizing it in the sense that these students are not being fed well, they are not having nutritious food to eat. As a normal human being, we all have a 3 balanced diet we all are supposed to stick to, but these children are being given malnourished meals, which is very, 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 very disturbing. And also with what my colleague said about headmasters and also some teachers, some teachers and some headmasters are seen packing foodstuffs meant for these children, and they'll be the same people to still come out to say that the food is not enough, the children are not being fed well, and a whole lot. And also, as she said, up till now, I'm sure these JHS students and primaries are still being fed. If it's being cancelled, they are still being fed. And I'm sure one person is how much? 1 cedi something
50 pesos.
1 cedi 50 pesos. Can you yourself sit a day and say that you just spend 1 cedi 50 pesos per head? 1 cedi 50 pesos. So if these people are not being fed well, it's understandable. So the government should make sure that enough funds are being allocated not only to SHS students but also to the primary, JHS and kindergarten students as well. And also these headmasters, they will come out to say these things are not enough, but this time around the government is seeing to it that enough funds are allocated. It's just temporary, but please, when the money is being allocated, they shouldn't use the money for their own selfish gain. They should see to it. They also are parents, and I believe they have kids they cater for. How would you feel if your kids come home and complain of hunger? Then times no free SHS, parents were paying feeding fee. If the government knows that they do not have the allocated funds to do that, they should just scrub it and make sure parents feed their own kids. Certain harsh decisions, the decisions are harsh, but it's in favor of the people themselves, it's in favor of the kids, and also it's in favor of the government.
Yeah, and I must say I'm happy for the fact that GES has released a survey to all parents, teachers and the students as well to fill in and point out their challenges they are facing, and I believe that the feeding challenges will also be incorporated as well, so that governments can inculcate that in their long-term goal. Yeah, thank you. Let's move on to our next headline. Let's work together to ensure industrial harmony. Western Regional Minister urges labor unions. Western Regional Minister Joseph Nelson has called on labor unions to join forces with the government and other stakeholders to enhance Ghana's working environment. He emphasized the importance of collaboration between labor unions and the government to achieve harmonious industrial development. Minister Nelson's appeal highlights the need for a unified approach to address the country's labor challenges. These are his words. What the TUC stands for, I believe, is noble because your activities and mandates contribute to industrial harmony. The minister praised the Trade Union Congress for its vital role in protecting workers' rights and enhancing peace and stability in Ghana. He made these remarks while meeting with Richard Hansen, the acting general secretary of TUC in the Western region, who paid him a courtesy call to discuss the union's activities. So Western Regional Minister Joseph Nelson has urged the labor unions to collaborate with the government and stakeholders to improve Ghana's working environment. He stressed the importance of unity in addressing union challenges and achieving an industrial harmony. This is what he said. So he said the trade union should collaborate with the government and stakeholders to improve Ghana's working. Yeah, what do you have to say?
The Trades Union Congress in Ghana advocates for workers' rights and improves working conditions and a whole lot. Yeah. So with the three functions of the trade union, first of all is fair compensation, ensuring workers receive fair wages and benefits, and as we've seen, 10% of salary increment, even though it's not enough for public workers. And also secondly is improved working conditions, enhancing workplace safety and providing better amenities. And lastly, social protection, strengthening social safety net to support workers during difficult times. So with this, I agree that this trade union congress are supposed to collaborate with the government and also the stakeholders, because sometimes with this strike going on, the trade I feel like sometimes the government is also at fault, because these unions will come to you, bring their issue to you, and they are being ignored. First of all, they are being ignored, and secondly, no reasonable or valid point is being given to them that, oh, at least take your time, things will be good, take your time, they'll make sure that things are being put in place. Let's say we are in this entity here and our working conditions are very bad, and we talk to management and there's nothing done about it. You yourself will know that we would all agree that we'll go on a strike. But when they collaborate with us, they come together and communicate effectively with us, there's no way no one will stand up and say that we are going on a strike. And also when you communicate with an entity, or when you communicate with these unions to make sure that things are being put in place, I also feel that the time frame, because you spoke to the person, doesn't mean the time frame should be that lengthy for you to address their pressing issues. So with this, collaboration is also good, and also most importantly, communication.
Yeah, right, well said.
To know the needs of public servant workers or government workers or any other workers, I mean, the government cannot sit at his office and then know that this is what is going on, this is what you need, this is the pressing issue you are going through, and this is the urgent solution you need for it. And so with the Western Regional Minister saying he wants to work hand in hand with the TUC labor unions, you understand. It's very good because there's a group of workers from different organizations joining together to improve their working conditions. I mean, they represent their workers in a lot of occasions or programs, and then they speak on behalf of their people. Just like the way if something is happening here, like all of us can't go out to speak for ourselves. We have a representative, we have a manager who will speak on our behalf. If something is going all wrong, or maybe we feel like there is something that needs to be done, we communicate to him, and then he gets it too. He communicates to the higher authority so that problem will be solved. And so I feel like they work hand in hand with the government, because if that kind of collaboration is not there, there is no way their needs would be settled. And so it's a good one. I mean, when you are a minister, a regional minister, so you have workers in your environment where you live, and you can't say, or you can't just out to say that you're going to work without, I mean, paying critical attention to them, or hearing them out, or not considering their purposes or what they need. And so I feel like it is a good one. So with this, they can, when the collaborative is very effective, they can pour out their grievances, and I'm sure it will be heard. And even with that, I mean, the ministers has a reason of being in that particular place, and so pouring out your grievances to them is also a channel through which, I mean, your grievances will be heard at the higher authority or in a higher place.
Yeah, I think that was a good one from the Western Regional Minister, urging the Trade Union Congress to collaborate with the government to work in a harmonious environment. And I think that will go a long way for us to have a successful agenda for resetting Ghana. Yeah. So let's move on to our next headline, which is 5 injured in clash between Boko Senior High School and Boko Technical Institute during peace ceremony. Wow. Violence broke out during a peace ceremony between students of Boko Senior High School and Boko Technical Institute, leaving at least 5 students with severe injuries and several others with minor wounds. The ceremony was meant to be a ritual spearheaded by regional leaders in the Kpang Wega sub of Boko to end violent confrontation between the two schools. As part of the reconciliation efforts, the traditional leaders introduced a symbolic ritual, the ritual of the okra stick, a gesture meant to signify the end of hostilities and the beginning of lasting peace. However, what was intended to be a moment of unity quickly turned chaotic. Wow. So this was a clash between Boko SHS and Boko Technical Institute during a peace ceremony. Peace
ceremony.
A peace ceremony. A peace ceremony has led to us war. Wow. And I must say this is very sad. This is very sad. There's already a heated fight in Boko already, and now the students are also fighting. I think this is not a good news. This is not a good news. If the kids are fighting, how then what are we doing? What is government doing about it?
But it's quite alarming,
Yes.
What's the essence? And I don't see the need why SHS students will be fighting. Like, I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. Because during our times, did you fight? Did you fight in school?
I don't have time.
Inter schools. You've not seen fight between?
Oh,
no.
Me, my school, you're going for inter schools, there are no fights. But with these Heja boys, and even Accra, is it Kimbu? That is not Kimbu. Kimbu Technical School.
Yeah.
Like ATTC.
Yeah. Where Catalas was Accra Technical. Yeah, Ben Accra Technical.
Accra
Academy. What's the name? that wasn't even a clash, really. It was
Okay, with the Accra Academy on the senior was using a cutlass to discipline the junior.
It wasn't a clash. It's true.
For the clash, it's between the Kimbu and the ATTC technical whatever.
But don't you think the fight that is already happening in Boko is affecting the senior high school and children as well?
Yeah. You know, first I wanted to say that it looks funny, but it's not funny. Like, it looks like this it looks like this kind of misunderstanding is in the blood. Because I know of a colleague who is from there,
and he's not understanding. He's studying.
So I used to ask him, like, how can, I'm sorry if you're listening to me, for them, I'm sorry, but I have to say this. I was asking him whether they were born with it, because something very small that he will be dragging. And you see, the school that these students are, we have to remember that they are of different tribes in the school. Okay, so we have the Prusasi, we have the Mampusi, we have all the tribes, all the CCs in the schools. You get it? And so I'm sure that this fight that occurred between these two schools wasn't something very near. Maybe they might raise an issue that has triggered this particular violence concerning what is already going on
during a peace.
But it's very bad. But this is a peace ceremony. That's what I'm saying, that I feel like it is like this kind of war thing. It's in the blood already. But you see, what is going on in Boko is not something that we have to sleep over it.
Yeah.
It's been years now. And I was told that fight was there since the 90s between chieftaincy. But then when it was in the 2000s, it looks like everything was calm. And then all of a sudden, everything started again. And I was told, but I don't have evidence. So I was told that this conflict is actually being escalated because there are some political leaders behind it.
Wow.
Because I know of some political leaders that are from the Mampusi, and then some from the Kusas. And you know, I will not keep quiet for you to be fighting my people. And you see, this particular tribe and misunderstanding conflict will continue if there is no one. If we'll continue because there is like a backing vocalist somewhere that is actually fueling it to continue the more. But you see, it doesn't make sense. Even if someone is reading this, okay, there is a misunderstanding between GTR and then a Efie Lodge, and then we went to like we are all together for a peace, or a resolution, something to make sure peace reign. Then all of a sudden they are still fighting. Even if an outsider is looking, to be like, wow, are you being serious? So I'm sure that something triggered that violence, and I'm not sure it is something very lightly that triggered that.
Definitely, one of the students made a very derogatory
comment. Yes, that led to that. And you see, those people too, they are the kind of people that one is what shakaka.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't sit down for you to, like, who do money bet you from? It doesn't happen like that. So when they find out that you are trying to do something of that sort, then they have to retaliate. But this is the case. Maybe if even this peace, whatever they want to succeeded, it might even be a stepping stone to even bring resolution to the place. But here lies the case: the leaders are doing it, people who are known to be adults are doing it, and we are trying to resolve, and they are sending militaries and staffs, and they are not seeing the head and tail of the conflict. And then students are also doing this.
So what do you think, what are some of the measures you think can be put in place to end this whole fight in regards to students in school? Miss David.
Oh, okay.
No, let's. So you see, with regards to the conflict that is going on, is it in the school or Boku as a whole?
In the school, in terms of the kids in the school.
In terms of the kids in the school, I think what I would say is okay, so let me focus on communication.
Okay.
So how you channel communication between this student will determine whether there will be chaos or not.
Okay.
You know, sometimes, okay, so let me tell you, when I was in school like this, there are other schools that like inter schools we go for, and sometimes what the teachers say about those schools to us, we the students to hear, I mean, they say things that looks as if they are actually talking negatively about the school. So they've incited this kind of anger for the school, even though we've not met the school before. So I can't remember when we were having something sort of inter schools and we were supposed to meet that particular school. At the end of the day, it resulted into chaos, because once we were going there, we were going with anger, like that kind of hatred, even though we've not met with the people before. And sometimes when you meet the students on the road, the kind of things or what they say, I mean, depict or says it all with regards to what the teachers have been telling us about in school. So I feel like the channel of communication needs to be noted very well. If you're communicating to the students concerning other schools, you have to know how to communicate it. I don't know whether I'm making sense, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. But if the channel of communication is poor, trust me, it will lead to violence. And then what they should do is that they should also talk about peace and conflict resolution. I mean, when I was in school, social studies, I know they talk about conflict, right? Social studies, even science, citizenship. Okay, so in primary it was citizenship, but in JHS it was social studies. We spoke about conflict and conflict resolution, where teachers, they told us how conflict came about, what led to conflict, and how we are going to resolve it. And so with all this teachings in the school will also help the student, because what you are learning is not only for the classroom. I mean, with this thing that they wanted to do, they could have even resolved it, because it's something that you've been taught. It's not only you coming to school and then learning it in the classroom, but it's something that you've been taught so that you can, I mean, exhibit it in your daily activity, or show it in your daily work or in your daily activities. So I feel like they should talk more about conflict resolution to these students, so that they will know that conflict is very bad and it isn't a good thing.
Yeah, I think the conflict resolution programs will go a
long way
by counseling the students on some of the effects if you involve yourself in clashes and then fight with other people. You might even end up losing your life, and I think that alone will go a long way.
Wait, I don't know. It's like we have this organization that also goes around to talk about conflict resolution, everything that has to do.
Is it the NGOs?
NGOs, and I think the NCCS, do they also do something like that? NCCE.
Yeah, the NCCE also does that.
So I feel like they should be
such programs should be involved in a
more often.
Yeah. Miss Regina.
Okay. I don't know what the Ghana Education Service is doing about the rising violence in SHS these days.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are really doing about this, because my time, it's not that common. Just a few misunderstanding and everyone will go his or her way. But this point, to the extent that machetes, weapons are being brought out,
which we send to school to read, are being used to beat students simply because they went through. I don't know.
And you see, I feel that I wouldn't say bad parenting, because you can have good parenting, but once you come to this school ground, a whole lot, as she said, different tribes, different types of people are on that school ground, and obiani ni fi entity obi wa ha ebiana omo de violence, your his or her approach to issues is violence, others is communication, others is just to be calm. So I don't know what the Ghana Education Service is doing about this, and also to the disciplinary measures to take. First of all, I feel that counseling is also a key measure. Counseling, in every school we have a counseling board or a counseling committee where they talk to these students, especially who go through bullies and other stuffs. We have a counseling committee. And also suspension. If the student is at fault, I feel like with this Boko SHS issue, all the students involved should be suspended immediately. This is no time for giving favor or anything. And I said, this is my favorite students. And I said, when the students will be lacking behind in academics. If the students didn't want to lag behind in academics, he or she will put up a very disciplined attitude. And also detention. To impose detention for a specified period, which can include community service or other forms of restitution. I don't know during your period, but in my school, when you are being caught in an act which is against the school rules, you'll be sent out to do community works.
We did the silting of gutters.
And you know, especially some ladies and some gentlemen, they'll be like, me, I don't want anyone to see me doing that. So they'll make sure they put up positive and good attitude in school. And also, if it's escalate to a certain level where these boys bring machete and a whole lot, I feel the police should come in, and also they should be arrested, detained, and taught a lesson.
That is if they are above the ages of 18.
Even if you are not above, you can still go to
juvenile. Thank you so much for that submission. This is where we draw the curtains for news headlines. Stick and stay with us. Up next, we have Debbie's Girl.
Good morning once again. Welcome to Debbie's Grill, where issues of state concerns are grilled, toasted, and an iota of truth drained out to ensure that things that are not put in their right places are fixed at places that needs to be fixed. Today, I want us to talk about something very exciting I came across yesterday on social media. But with that, if we will be sincere to ourselves and put politics aside, let's look at something. The current administration, President Mahama, he's barely in office for 2 months or 1.5 months now. But let's look. You can see that things are in place. Like, he's trying every possible means to ensure that everything is going on well. That's why from the beginning I said, let's put politics aside and talk the truth here. I do not want to compare his current administration to the previous administration, but it's barely 2 months now, and then you can see what is going on. You can see the kind of people or the address that needs to be made, things that the government feels like it's not being put at the right place, it's not being fixed at its right place. Now let's go to what I saw on social media yesterday. I will not ask you to print more money. President Mahama to Bank of Ghana governor. President Mahama has made a bold assurance to the newly sworn-in governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Asiama, and the first deputy governor, Dr. Zakaria Mumuni. He vowed not to instruct them to print more money, a practice that contributed to Ghana's current economic crisis. Mahama emphasized that excessive money printing Please take note of that. Mahama emphasized that excessive money printed drives inflation and exacerbates economic challenges. He criticized the previous administration handling of the banking sector cleanup, stating that it was done with a narrow focus disregarding human consequences. Mahama expressed confidence in the newly appointed Bank of Ghana leaders, citing the wealth of experience and strong leadership qualities. He believes the appointment marks the beginning of resetting Ghana's economy with a focus on proper currency regulation and stability. That tastes so delicious, right? So yesterday, during the swearing in of the newly appointed Bank of Ghana governor, Mr. Johnson Asiaman, President Mahama made this remarks. In fact, when I saw it, I was like, you know, like it sounds so nice and good. Why? Because with this, let's put politics aside. I feel like President Mahama is trying to say or portray something. He's trying to say that he's not going to politically infiltrate or filtrate into the affairs of the Bank of Ghana. You know, let me take you to previous administration where Mr. Addison was the Bank of Ghana governor. I mean, we printed a lot of currencies, and you know, all these currencies came with debt. And you know, first I thought that when you are going to print currencies, there is no way, I had no idea that you are supposed to, I mean, pay or put in something to get what you are looking for. So let's look at how much the Bank of Ghana spent on printing money. That was in the previous government. So the Bank of Ghana used 325 million to print notes in 2022. Then, according to the Bank of Ghana, as at that time, report and financial statement for 2022, the Bank of Ghana used 174 million. 174 million to print notes in 2021. Now, the Bank of Ghana incurred significant losses on 2022, largely as a result of the DDEP. And you see, this was the amount of money that was used to print new notes. And you remember, it was in the previous years that they printed, I mean, 5 CD. We used to use this 5 CDs that has a man, and then, you know, they brought in a new 5 CDs. And as in the previous years, I remember those times we used to have 2 CD paper. Of late, I can't even see that paper because it's no more in the system. Then we have a 2 CD coin. So in the previous government, they printed a lot of money, and allegedly the money was printed illegally. But even though all this money was printed even though all this money was printed according to them to help stabilize the economy of the country, we were still suffering. I mean, the economy wasn't even stabilized. Although all this money was printed in the previous government, we could see that it looks as if the previous administration was stretching their hand inside, and so we only see the money and the figures in numbers, but then we don't see it physically. We see it on papers, we don't see it physically. And although all this money was printed, for me, I feel like it was in the pocket of one person. And it's got to the extent that although this money was being printed, I mean, there were a lot of instances where the economy became something of, I mean, a different issue to discuss. They told us that the money was printed, and the money was printed although, but they came to tell us that there is still no money, and so we have to go to the IMF. And this was the same people that told us that they were not going to the IMF because we can actually print more money. And then we printed more money, but we were not seeing the money. Looks like the money was in the possession of some particular people. And you see, although the money was being printed and we were not seeing it, the borrowers now have the money in their possession and they are running after people on bicycle whilst they sit in air-conditioned vehicles. I mean, driving in jets that cost the public 21 million or 2.8 million. Stand to be corrected. And those times, it looks like the Bank of Ghana was being controlled by unknown forces, which we don't see. And I don't know whether you remember this. In 6 October 2023, I mean, there was a lot of demonstration where concerned citizens of the country, together with the National Democratic Congress, led a demonstration protesting for the removal of the Bank of Ghana governor because of the loss they've caused to the state. And you see, it was very sad because even BBC came to report on this particular incident. Now, so after they took to the street, they wanted the then governor of Bank of Ghana to be resigned because the Ghana was losing an amount of 60 billion Ghana cedis in 2022. 60 billion. And you see, it looks funny, but it's not funny. So with this, when I saw the message of the current president, then I asked myself, this man is someone I see to not only have Ghanaians at heart, but you know what? He's even thinking about the well-being and the welfare of the people economically. And the Bank of Ghana, as it stands, I see it to be a holder of the country. Because even if we need funds or something, we go to the Bank of Ghana. And worth of thousands of cedis have been used in printed a lot of money in the previous administration. After printing a lot of money, we still didn't see the money. We are not seeing the money, but we are seeing people flying in jets. We are not seeing the money, but we've seen a lot of money in the possession of some members of parliament in their room. We don't see the money, but the money is there. And I remember that time, they were not only demonstrating for the removal of the then governor of the Bank of Ghana, but they were also demonstrating to remove Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta. And I remember they gave ultimatum to the government. And that issue became something else. And you see, it's so sad. Very, very sad. So when I see the current president saying that, I was like, wow, this is very nice. This is very good. Let's do away with politics and talk facts here. Because if you want to infiltrate into the duties of the Bank of Ghana politically, trust me, this country will continue to be poor. And those times, it looks like the coffers of the country, the money of the country, was in the possession of only one person. And aside all this printing of money and stuffs, where we don't even see the money, they were still imposing taxes on us, to the extent that they have to bring in a bedridden member of parliament to come and vote. Maybe you forgot in the e-levy. come and vote. So we're printing money and allegedly illegally to have excess money to help us. But aside all those printing of the money and stuffs, we still didn't see anything. And then when we talk about it, they feel like, oh, they are making noise. Or they feel like, oh, what? After all, what? But hey, the Bank of Ghana is there not for the New Patriotic Party. The Bank of Ghana is not there for the National Democratic Congress. The Bank of Ghana is not there for PPP. It's not there for CPP. It's not there for NDU. It's not there for ADP. It's not there for AAA. It's there for the country. It's there for the benefit of the country, and it's there because of the economy of the country, to help the country in funds. Because if Ghana is in a crisis and we don't have any place to go, the Bank of Ghana should be sourcing us with funds. But you know what? We went to the IMF because even though we were printing a lot of money, we still don't know what we've been using the money for. And they were not sincere enough to tell us. And I feel like as a leader or as a government, you know the right thing. You're supposed to do the right thing. But no, they didn't. They didn't. And you see what President Mahama said, if truly and truly he's going to stick to what he said, then trust me, this country is on a good course. There is no tag of political party here. We are talking about the stabilization of the economy. If today Ghana, the economy of this country is stabilized, and you feel so comfortable when it comes to you taking your money, your salary, the condition of living is so good, how will you feel? You'll feel better, right? That's right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Debbie. If this is what Mahama is doing, then the country is on a good course. Thank you so much, Miss Debbie. Up next, we have Today in History, and Did You Know with Miss Regina Bliss. I can't wait to be educated.
Hello. Okay, so it's time for Today in History, and Did You Know with Miss Regina Bliss. So to today's Today in History, 1802, Victor Hugo, a poet, novelist and dramatist who was the most important of the French Romantic writers, was born. 1814, Napoleon's escape from Elba. Forced to abdicate as French emperor in 1814, Napoleon escaped from exile on the island of Elba this day in 1815, and gathering support en route, retook power on his return to Paris on March 20th, ushering in the 100 Days. 1991, U.S. President George Bush ordered a ceasefire effective at midnight and declared victory in the Persian Gulf War, a conflict triggered by Iraq's invasion and occupation of Kuwait in August 1990. 1993, Today in History. The World Trade Center in New York City was bombed in an act of terrorism, and Islamic radicals were later convicted for the crime. Today in History 2010, a magnitude 8.8 earthquake struck Chile, causing widespread damage and triggering a tsunami that devastated coastal areas. It was the most powerful earthquake to strike the region since 1960. Today in History 2012, national debate about racism and racial profiling ensued after Trayvon Martin, an unarmed African American teenager returning from a convenience store in Sanford, Florida, was fatally shot by a neighborhood watch volunteer, George Zimmerman, who later successfully argued that he had acted in self-defense. Moving to Did You Know for today. Did you know that the internet was originally called ARPANET, Advanced Research Project Agency Network, designed by the U.S. Department of Defense? The internet as you know today, and through which you are accessing this information, had its beginnings in the late 1960s as the ARPANET. The project began with the Department of Defense's Advanced Research Project Agency, then called ARPA, and now DARPA. Did you also know that the average human brain contains around 78% of water? The Global Ischemia study reported an increase in brain water content from 77.16 to 78.2%, a smaller increase than reported for the 3 focal models. It should be noted, however, that these small global increases may have a profound effect on intracranial pressure and potential herniation. Did you know that your foot has 26 bones in it? The foot is a complex mechanical structure of the human body composed of 33 joints, 26 bones, and more than 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments that all work together to bear our weight, allow for locomotion, and transmit force. So our last Did You Know for today. Did you know that frogs can't swallow with their eyes open? Unlike humans, frogs don't have tongues attached to the bottom of their mouth like humans do. Instead, their tongue is attached at the front and can shoot out at high speeds to catch a prey. Once captured, they pull their eyes in to push food into their esophagus and throat, making eye-opening and swallowing impossible. And that's all for today on Today in History and Did You Know? Join me same time tomorrow for some fascinating facts as usual.
Wow. Frogs don't swallow with their eyes open.
Yes.
Because
so when you see their eyes inside their mouth.
Yes, inside their mouth. It's connected to their esophagus
and throat. Yes.
That is why. Oh, okay. That's fascinating, I must say.
Thank you.
That's interesting. Thank you for educating us, Miss Regina Bless. Wow. How is the day going to be like? How is the morning going to be like for today? Well, I can't wait for the State of the Nation's address by President John Mahama tomorrow. What are your expectations? What are you waiting? Like, what are you anticipating for the president to come and say to us tomorrow for the State of the Nation?
My expectations are a lot.
Oh.
I remember yesterday I asked someone, a young guy, and he was like, he's waiting for the president to address betting issue. Is it 10% tax on betting? Hey, sorry, betting. On betting. Oh, betting.
Miss Debbie.
Yes, I'm also expecting a lot from him to tackle issues, especially when it has to, like, concerns that have been raised from people. You know, he said something on the 10% increase that when the economy is well stabilized, he's going to do more. And then people are also expecting him to speak on the Dumso issue.
Oh,
yes, those are issue. And then with regards to a whole lot, I mean, project things he himself said he will come and do. I mean, the aid levy, he said he will scrap it, but the first budget is not yet presented to the Parliament House. But then we are expecting a whole lot to tackle, especially key issues that are on the hearts of, Ghanaians.
You talking about key issues, that reminded me of the Saglima project. Saglama project. Yeah, then he needs to touch on that also.
Yeah, so we are hoping that the president will come and give us an overview of the true current state of the country. Thank you so much for joining us on today's news review. Today in history and Debbie's Grill. Right after the news, we have a discussion coming up with Omari and myself. Please stick and stay. Let's have the news.
Ghana Talks Radio, number 1. We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Daybreak News on Ghana Talks Radio. Coming up this morning, cholera vaccination. Ghana Health Service deploys 300 personnel to Efutu. I'll keep Bank of Ghana free from political interference. Mahama. Michael Amse criticisms of Akufo-Addo's government was too harsh. A pack. And in other stories, Akotia MP fights contempt conviction at Supreme Court. This business, sports and showbiz is coming in this morning's bulletin. The news will be read by Awin Temi Akansukum. Now let's settle for the
This is
details.
Ghana Talks Radio.
The Ghana Health Service has deployed 300 personnel to the Efutu area in the central region to commence the cholera vaccination exercise. The Agona Swedro area has also trained 108 personnel who have also commenced vaccination, according to the Ghana Health Service. The Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Professor Samuel Kaba Akuria, stated that the vaccine is only meant to mitigate the spread and urge residents to keep their surroundings clean. It is not just about carrying vaccines and moving around, but we also have a move along doing health promotion so that people understand it is not just about vaccines. Education is part, and so they know that prevention is better than cure. He said, to contain the efforts being made to combat the disease, Central Regional Minister Eko Penyi Ochre Eduamwa has instituted monthly cleanup exercises across the region starting March 1, 2025. He stated that the exercise will be compulsory and urged the Assembly to ensure that the Assembly bylaws are punitive against those who don't adhere to the directive. President John Dramani Mahama has pleasure to ensure the Bank of Ghana operates independently, free from political interference. The president made this comment Tuesday, February 25, 2025, during the swearing-in ceremony of Dr. Johnson Esiama as governor and Dr. Zakaria Mumuni as first deputy governor of the central bank. President Mahama emphasized the critical role of the Bank of Ghana in stabilizing Ghana's economy amid ongoing challenges in the financial sector. After administering the oath of allegiance, office, and secrecy to the newly appointed officials, he acknowledged the daunting task ahead of them. Ghana's financial sector is in crisis, and the task ahead demands experience, foresight, and decisive leadership. With Dr. Esiama heading the Bank of Ghana, I'm confident that we would rebuild trust, restore stability, and put our economy on a path of sustained growth. I entrust him with this responsibility, knowing he will serve with diligence and excellence, he added. To other stories, Dr. Clement Apak, Deputy Minister Designate for Education, has acknowledged that his past remarks criticizing the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration's handling of illegal mining known as Galamsey were overly harsh. Speaking during his vetting before Parliament's Appointments Committee Tuesday, February 25, Dr. Apak admitted that in hindsight, his comments were too harsh and excessive. His initial criticisms made on social media ahead of the 2024 general elections accused the government of enabling illegal mining and benefiting from the practice. During the vetting, Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin referred to the remarks and asked Dr. Apak to clarify his stance. In response, Dr. Apak acknowledged that his criticisms may have been too broad. Given the context provided, it is only fair and appropriate that I concede that I was rather too excessive in blaming an entire government for the infractions of a few, he stated. He further expressed his willingness to take responsibility for his words, adding, "Given my responses so far, I would admit so." Now, the Member of Parliament for Akwatia, Enes Iyao Kumi, has filed a case at the Supreme Court seeking to overturn a contempt conviction issued by the Koforidua High Court February 19, 2025. The embattled MP have, through his lawyers, filed a certiorari and a prohibition application, arguing that the Koforidua High Court exceeded its jurisdiction in the matter. Represented by his counsel Gary Nimakomafo, the MP contends that Justice Emmanuel Senyo Amedehi committed a jurisdictional error of law apparent on the face of the record by assuming authority over the parliamentary election petition for the Akwatia constituency at a time when the Electoral Commission had yet to publish the Gazette notification of the election results. Justice Senyo Amedehi convicted Kumi of contempt of court and issued a bench warrant for his arrest, citing his defiance of an interim injunction that barred him from being sworn in as a legislator. However, the MP's legal team argues that the ruling was procedurally flawed and breached the rules of natural justice. According to the application, the High Court violated natural justice principles by proceeding with a contempt hearing despite the pendency of a motion to set aside the application on jurisdictional grounds. Additionally, the MP's legal team alleges bias on the part of the judge, pointing to the refusal to grant the MP's counsel audience on the basis that formal appearance had not been filed in the contempt proceedings. As part of the relief sought, the legal team is requesting the Supreme Court to declare that the election petition filed by Henry Boachi Yadom on December 31, 2024 was premature and thus incompetent due to the absence of the Gazette notification of parliamentary election results. Now, to some business, the Ghana Cocoa Board, has stated that it is working to address price disparities in the cocoa sector as part of efforts to curb smuggling. This follows the interception of 1,115 gallons of cocoa beans at the Avihavi border en route to Togo. The seized beans have been handed over to Cocoa Board while investigations continue. Speaking to City News, the Director of Special Services, Charles Amenyaklo, said Cocoa Board is implementing measures to track and counter the activities of cocoa smugglers. Cocoa Board is finding innovative ways of fighting the smuggling menace. As we speak, we want to identify all the routes so that we can block all those routes and all the strategies that they use. So the management of Cocoa Board is deliberating on how to, and when it comes to price disparities, we are looking at various ways of bridging that, and there is a committee working on that. In the interim, we are manning the access route, and then we do spot checks and thorough searches to identify people who are carrying the beans. Ghana star Mohamed Kudus has called the 2022 World Cup in Qatar the best football tournament, outshining even the Champions League. The West Ham standout lived with thrill 3 years ago at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar, where he scored twice in 3 games for the Black Stars in its first goal at the competition. Mohamed Kudus lit up the page against South Korea in the group stage, leaving Ghanaian fans speechless. Despite missing the 2025 AFCON, Kudus is already eyeing a return to the global stage in 2026 with World Cup qualifiers looming. The Black Stars face Chad and Madagascar in March 2025, starting with a home match against Chad at Accra Sports Stadium, March 17 to 21st, followed by an away trip to Antananarivo to take on Madagascar. So far, in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, Ghana has notched 3 wins from 4 games: Mali, Central African Republic, and Madagascar. Their only loss came across Comoros. This leaves them with 9 points, having scored 7 goals and conceded 5. Mohamed Kudus, still goalless in these qualifiers, will be eager to find the net when the Black Stars return to the action in March. Now, moving straight to some showbiz this morning. Actor Mickey Osebeko, popularly known as Dada Boat, says it saddens his heart whenever he sees foreign content played on Ghana Broadcasting Corporation channels. According to him, it is the national media station of the country. Therefore, its responsibility is to focus on and promote local content only. Unfortunately, the managers of the station have joined other private channels by airing foreign programs, which he thinks is not supporting the movie industry and its stakeholders. He spoke on Joy Prime's Changes show with Rosalind Felly on February 21. A lot of TV stations show about 80% foreign content, even the national television station, and that is sad. It makes me shed tears anytime I see GBC showing foreign content. For what? He quizzed. He said other countries' television stations, including Nigeria, do not show foreign content as compared to Ghana, but GBC, he thinks, has joined what other stations programming, thereby swaying from the actual aim of the creation of the channel. And that's it with the Daybreak News on Ghana Talks Radio. Log on to www.GhanaTalksRadio.com for more of these stories and follow us, Ghana Talks Radio, on all social media platforms. The news was read by Awentemi Akan Sukumasi. Thanks so much for making time. Good morning.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with GhanaTalks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With GhanaTalks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. GhanaTalks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. GhanaTalks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast.
French fry.
Koko nikosi. Alo komi kesheto. Wachi.
Well, Gobe is the real deal. Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues,
Entertainment, sport,
and all trending stories live on our mobile app, and also follow us on our socials at GhanaTalks Radio.
From Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with me, Pakwesi Obare,
Deborah Adolso,
Regina Bliss,
And I am Esinom. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Good morning once again, as welcome you to Ghana Talks Breakfast Show on Ghana Talks Radio. My name is Pakwesi Omari, and I am in the studios with my beautiful co-hosts, Esinam and Miss Debbie. Debbie,
Hello.
how was the grilling today?
I really enjoyed it myself.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great. It's hard to come by people who enjoy their own work. So,
It's true.
I mean, once you find that confidence, I mean, you know.
Why?
It was a hot sauce.
It was a hot sauce, as Debbie put it. Izzy,
Yeah.
how was your night?
My night was very short. Very, very, very short.
Why?
I don't know. But it looks like immediately I put my head down. In the next 5 minutes now, I heard the alarm. I was like, oh my God. Is that really morning?
As you just love sleeping.
No.
The night wasn't short.
The night was short.
You
I don't
wanted
know
an extended sleep time.
If because I didn't sleep early. Or something,
probably.
yeah.
Next
I
time,
slept around
sleep early.
2 something.
Hey, Izzy, are you a witch?
Hey. This is sleeping for the week. Oh. Me, I'm not weak. I'm not weak.
So yes, this is the midweek edition of the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Join the conversation on all our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on X. Join the conversation. Don't forget to add the hashtag Ghana Talks BFS. You can also join through our WhatsApp line 0202-544-614, 0202-544-614. Also our website www.ghanatalksradio.com, www.ghanatalksradio.com. This morning we will be coming your way with some news that has been circulating in the country since yesterday, and also tomorrow the State of the Nation's address.
Yes.
The first by the new administration, the new president.
Yeah.
Wow. What do you expect from that?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
Like,
You know, he's barely in office for 1.5 months.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't lie. And then
Yeah.
people has to raise a lot of concerns. One that has to do with the power outages. And the second one that has to do with issues of education,
okay.
where they are bringing reforms or survey for, especially when it has to do the free SHS.
Yeah.
Then Galamsey.
The Galamsey.
Yeah.
The issue with Galamsey.
Gala.
We can't stop
Ghana.
talking about it. Oh.
You see, so a lot. So we are just hoping that what he will come out to say
Yeah.
will pinpoint to, what is on the hearts of Ghanaians, and then measures he's putting in place to do it. And he has promised that he'll be scrapping some levies. And we've not seen it, even though the first budget has not been presented to Parliament yet. But then we are hoping that he will touch on it.
On that, that's great. Some huge expectations from them.
Very huge.
Very, very huge. I mean, Essie, what will you be expecting from the president tomorrow?
Well, I want him to give us an overview of the current status of the country. In terms of how the country is doing. Economic recovery, good governance and stability, job creation for the youth and employment. We want him to address all of these issues and tell us what is the way forward. What can we do better? And with the issue of Galamsey, we are tackling Galamsey. We are not seeing anything. What is the president doing about it? What are his words with regards to this big menace to the country? So we want him to come out and address that as well.
And I mean, we've recently been experiencing some power outages in some various places in the country as well. I think he should come out and address it. A statement was given by the presidency's communication team that the energy minister will come and say something about it. We are yet to hear. So, well, let's see how that goes. But then, in all, I mean, you have given your view, but as journalists, I mean, you hear people, you perceive news items from the society. What has been the constant talk about the new administration? Are people really in tune with how things are being run in terms of our human rights? Because there's been a lot of talk about, now people can really talk. State institutions coming out to voice out, which hasn't really been so for the past 8 years or so. So people think these are some of the things that is going on. People feel refreshed.
Well, he said he's going to be a listening president. He's going to listen from us as well. So I think that has given people the courage and the hope to voice out their issues, hoping that definitely maybe the president will get to hear of it and then find a solution to whatever problem they are facing. If not a problem, or maybe their suggestion.
Wow.
I also feel like people are hitting more on the economy. I remember the last time we went for reporting, and some of them were complaining that, especially when it has to do with the betting tax. Yes, the investment. They were like, so we are trying to explain to them that it's a process. He cannot just come and then all of a sudden he's in office today and tomorrow he has taken off everything. So and they don't want to understand the fact that you will tell them it's a procedure he's taking or a process. But definitely he's going to mind you, a lot of people, intellectuals are saying that Mahama should be careful with the way he's scrapping, the way he said he's going to scrap some levies, because it will affect the economic status of the country. So I feel like all this thing is going through his mind. So he has to sit down, think properly about it, and take a needed step. But it's our people, they don't understand these things. All they know is that he said he will scrap it, so he should do it.
And what we are failing to understand is that he's actually not in his own budget yet. This is the budget of the previous administration.
Is true.
He can't just come and do
so he's yet to present his.
They don't our people now, their way of understanding this is in a way.
Wow. So yes, this is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Join the conversation as we head into the topics for today. You can join through our WhatsApp line 0202-544-614. Also on all our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio. Now, yesterday there were a different batch of vetting in Parliament, and so many brouhahas been spoken about it. Today we are going to look at vetting itself and its impact on good governance. I mean, it's been known to us that through vetting we get to assess the people we are deciding to hand over some positions to, whether they are fit for it or not.
Yeah.
But I mean, time in time, we are yet. It only happened. Was it in 2012? Somewhere, but it has only happened once that someone was vetted and
didn't pass.
Yeah, I mean, no matter how difficult they make it, they still pass.
It's true.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, is it really, anything to waste our time and resources on? Because at the end of the day, they are more passive.
Yes, but it's necessary, because the first question we should ask ourselves is, why should we vet someone? Why should we make an appointee go to a lot of stress and thorough scrutiny?
Do you think it's stressful?
Yeah, it's in a way, but like I won't say it's stressful in a negative way, but you see, a president has appointed someone. It means one, the president has seen something in that person, which he feels like when he gives him that mandate, he will be able to do it.
Yeah.
That's one. And then when you are vetting the person, like someone you trust me, and then you are giving me a position, and at the end of the day I have to go and sit in front of management to answer. So I'll feel like, oh God, what is this? But it's very necessary, because they want to know whether you are competent enough to do that. And then they want to know whether you have the interest of the state at heart, or you are there for your personal interest. Because we've seen people that they've gone through vetting, and then what they said, like, it's not contrary to what they did. And some of them, when they see there and they're asking them questions, like you're asking them the question through Volta region, they're asking through Ashanti region, but they will still be approved. So I feel like it's one, to know your competence enough, and then to know how, like, whether you have the interest of the country at heart, and then to know whether you'll be accountable and transparent. Because a lot of people has been through that same position, and they've known what they have done. So you two, what do you have for us? So you tell us something different, and we will know that. But I feel very bad when at the end of the day people go through the vetting, and then they approve you, even if what the person, I don't want to call names, but I'm being tempted.
Call names. We want to hear.
we know you as a girl.
You see, Honorable Hawa Kumsi. Honorable Hawa Kumsi, when she went to the vetting committee, the questions they were asking her with what she was he not the Minister for Fisheries, Anameboa? Yes. The questions they were asking and what she was answering, for me, it was a no for me.
What were some of the questions and what were some of the answers? No, I mean, it's been 8 years. It's been 8 years, right?
It's been 8 years.
Refresh my brain. They asked
a question. I think they said she should explain something, or what is something.
Fish farming.
And she was saying something.
Someone watches fish farming.
You are in for, like, let's say you are going for the position as an SRC president. Then they ask you, what are you, or what is the duty of an SRC president? And then you are given a duty of a general secretary.
But that wasn't what she said.
Yes, but she said something, but it wasn't vivid. Like, oh goodness.
No, but you should understand. It's been a while.
You see, Vicky shaking his head. He said, no, but we still get there the opportunity, and we all know what this woman did. The stress his people went through.
So, Izzy,
I think, as she said, when you're vying for the position of an XLC president, you are being taken through a process. They want to know how competent you are. Do you have the ability? Do you have the capability to lead these people you claim you think you can lead? So with that, they want to know your professional background, you yourself, and then what you can do for the state. So in a way, they are questioning you. They are questioning you, in as much as sometimes they can be very annoying. They're also checking your temper, how you can manage pressure, how you can manage tension, all of that. Look at the questions they were asking John Dumelo, that he should be very serious, and then now that he has become a minister, he shouldn't go into acting, because ministerial positions are for serious people. How can you tell me that?
So imagine you have anger issues,
and he feels that just like that. They can say, oh, this guy, he's not good for the position, simply because he can't handle some issues.
So you believe that it's intentional by the committee to get on your nails to see how far.
Yes, it is.
Just like some people were not able to control themselves and they were carrying tables.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So we will be going on the lines very soon to speak to a political analyst.
Okay.
He's also a communicator for one of the political parties and a social advocate. He's actually the director for Africa American Entrepreneurship Association.
Wow.
Yeah, he's the director in Africa for them. So we will be going on the lines very soon to speak to him. His name is Mr. Adai Peter. And he will join us very soon. But before then, so far, looking at some of the questions they ask, I mean, we know the person is being vetted for, let's say, agriculture.
Yeah.
And then the questions that they are being asked about, all these, is it really necessary? I mean, looking at the related position the person is vying for and what you are asking him or her.
Like I said, sometimes I feel maybe they study the person's attitude or the person's behavior and see what the person will say when they ask questions like that. You just say you're better for one. You see, and with that, that's like a debt on your white shirt. I'm like, hey,
yes,
this is boy, yes, sonashe.
So is it really necessary?
It's not, but I feel sometimes it's intentional, or sometimes they just want you to feel relaxed or maybe comfortable. Yeah, in a way. So it's two sides.
For me, I feel like we play too much. We play a lot because these are positions that are at the heart of the government, not only at the heart of the government and at the heart of the people. And I said earlier on that a lot of people have passed through that kind of position. They've been in that sector before and we know what they have done. So what do you have for us? So when you're asking the question, ask the questions pertaining what the reason why the person is there. But it's not that they don't ask, they do, but I feel like they play is too much because I know you know me. So when you sit in front of me, I just feel like if I should ask him this question, he will be like, so what they do, there's not that they don't know. I'm sure it's something they've purported, they've planned to do there. So you see the person will be asking you questions that do not even make sense, and then they will still be laughing.
But sometimes I feel they ask some of those questions to also get your own point of view with regards to that question. So let's take for instance, you are going for a post. Let me use manager as an example. Manager, please, I'm sorry. So let's say maybe manager doesn't know much about journalism background. And he's going for a position in another entity, let's say an institution, and then you're asking him questions about journalism. They want to test his knowledge. So if you are found in such a position, how are you going to, put yourself out there or maybe respond to such issues? Do you get me? So sometimes I feel they want to know your perspective or maybe your idea with questions outside the box, which does not align with your position or with your purpose of you being there. Do you get me? So sometimes I don't feel it's a waste of time. They just want to hear your perception or your perspective.
So what if you are asking the person like personal questions that is not even in alignment with why the person is there?
Well, it's up to you to how you are going to answer that.
Like what they did to Sam George.
Okay.
You see. So SNI has to say that his wife is taking care of him.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes they want to place you in a tight corner, but in a way they are being too playful, because I feel like the play is too much. They say the reason why they are there. They tell you the reason why you are here, and then they give you a question to answer to that. But they don't do that. Like they don't go deep into it. They just touch on some 2 questions, and the rest is about your personal life and maybe things, petty things that does not relate to you being there.
Alright. So in as much as we don't see the relevance of the appointments committee asking Sam George of his secondary outcome. It's actually part of his background. They would like to know that. So it all boils down you how you are going to answer it. It's part of his background. They want to know your secondary background, your background as well. And that's when you go to parliament, you'll be asked to declare your assets, and all of that will be in there. You get me?
Yeah.
So in as much as we find it irrelevant, it's all how you are going to react or how you are going to answer such questions.
Wow. How you are going to react or answer such questions. You are still with us on Ghana Talks Radio. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, where Ghana talks, where Ghana lessons, and we give you all the gist, all the major news from way back till the future and present days to satisfy your hearings. Why is he smiling today like that?
It's my birthday. It's Wednesday. I'm a Kia.
No one.
Really?
Why are you jealous?
No, now I understand something. My entire family, everyone is very cool. One of my aunties, she's the only one who came as an Ekuya. I tell you, hey, trouble.
We are lovely people in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, Mom.
And that's unfair.
Yes, in a nutshell.
Yes. Before we move on, the street lights thing that the minister actually.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean.
Are you seeing some?
Yes, they've started working
They
on
have.
it. They have.
There's
nice.
hope.
Yes.
I must say there's hope.
That's
I mean,
nice.
Yeah.
So that thing. Open to me, are you?
Oh, they can do it.
The main business.
They do.
And I'm
They
glad
can do
we are
it.
already seeing the evidence of
They
it.
can
It's
do
not
it.
just words.
No, they will do it because of what they've seen, the kind of attitude Ghanaians have shown to the previous administration. So it's like, first, I feel like they come to promise, they don't do it, and then it's like excuse me,
Sorry.
it's like Ghanaians are quiet and they don't take an action. But what happened last year was a total shock to everybody. I mean, Ghanaians have shown, they have made it known that you are not there because of your interest, so we push you there, so you have to work for us. You have to serve us. And it's only in Africa that we vote for people and then we serve the people. Instead of them serving us, we are serving them. We've made, especially politics, we've made it so attractive that people go there and then we serve them, and then they spend our money on top and it makes us suffer. So because of what happened last year, they are, and I can see that they are also learning from the previous administration. Because if you don't do that, it is with their term that they brought you into power, and it will be with that same term that they are going to boot you out of power. So I feel like she's doing the right thing. If she said it and she's doing it, it means you know what you are doing, and you are not saying it. You are walking your talk. You are not just saying it and then you sit down, relax, and then when we are protesting, you come in your V8, and then when you you can't say food show. But it's good. It sends a good signal.
Sure. Sends a good signal. And the traffic lights are still giving issues. Now, yesterday, I witnessed something that the Oponglu traffic light.
Yes.
It's not working.
Yeah.
And yesterday morning, when I was coming to work, there was a serious accident.
Oh, there was an accident on Friday.
On Friday too.
Yeah, I went there.
You see, when the cars get there, so one has to come, one has to stop.
Yeah.
As a Takashi also.
Yeah.
And you know the Okada guys. There, small space, no. And then the car was coming. Yesterday I couldn't eat too.
So was the guy dead? Like, is he a guy?
He didn't die, but looking at
how he was injured,
man.
If you die, cry is better.
Like, he can't even scream to cry.
How can you?
People were even scared to get close to him. And
how will he even get close to this? God, I will just collapse.
The driver was just seated in his car and was like,
"Oh goodness,
no." What can you say?
It's serious.
In a way, I don't blame them.
They need to check that thing. If you get to Shia, the traffic light there, it's is so sweet. It's on red and it's on green. So you don't know whether you are please. Road authorities, we are pleading with you. This is a serious issue. This is life and death because motorists are risking their lives on our roads. So please, the right authorities should look into this thing. It's getting out of hand. Almost every week there is an incident of accidents happening because of traffic lights. It's so bad. At least now we've cried about street lights. We are seeing something being done on it. So the traffic lights should be also attended to. We beg them. We really beg them. We really beg them.
And the new normal of we waiting to lost a lot of people or see a lot of people die through accident because of traffic lights before we take an action needs to be stopped. Because we will see it and then they will keep quiet till people, like lots of people loses their life for some period of time before they will take an action. It's very bad. At least so long as you are being notified that there is something wrong going here, we should be in a hurry to fix it because this is between life and death. Sure. Traffic lights, red and green. If it is me, I'll be even confused. How will I even cross?
And I think that makes it difficult for people to also cross the road as well.
Yeah. So we will be going on the line very soon to speak to Mr. Adai Peter Esamwa on issues related to the vetting and how it influences good governance in the country. So, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
By the grace of God, everything is fine.
We thank God. So we welcome you this morning to Ghana Talks Radio. This is our Ghana Talk Breakfast Show. There is a discussion going on in town that the vetting, is it even important and all that brouhaha we are looking on, we are watching them do in the parliament. In your own knowledge, observation, what will you say about vetting of appointees and its effect, its impact on good governance, how it builds a good administration for the country to be governed?
Okay, thank you, sir, and good morning once again.
Good morning.
And also to your viewers. The issue of vetting has a history.
Okay.
If you look through Ghana political history, you get to know the issue of vetting started from the 1992 Constitution.
Okay.
Ghana, our political history, our first vetting of ministers started in 1983 when the likes of Obeda Samoa, the likes of Tutubi Kwache were vetted to hold political office.
Okay.
One important question someone will ask. Then, what is important of vetting?
Yeah.
If you look through our constitution, we have three arms of government.
Yeah.
We have the executive, we have the legislature, and we have the judiciary. The only arm that represents the people that may not have any political connotation it's political, but it's impolitical in operation. It's parliament. Parliament is political because people are elected based on their political lines. It's impolitical because the people they represent the masses of people or the citizens of the country. So in order for citizens to really know who is going to lead them in their various sectors of economy, there was need for us to have the vetting committee. Okay. And the essence or the duty of the vetting committee is to check competency and to also serve as a check on the executive. Okay. Because ministers are appointed by political parties and also by the executive. So in order not to give the executive all that power to operate anyhow, that was the essence of putting that issue of vetting in our constitution. And as I said, our first vetting happened in 1993 when Flight Lieutenant J.J. Lawrence won the election, and in 93 he appointed his ministers to go to work.
Okay, that's great. Such a great enlightenment. Now, but we've seen that the processing of vetting has always been, no matter what happens, they still approve the person. They barely reject anyone who has been appointed by the president for vetting. It has happened, I think, only once in the history since it began that a person was rejected at the vetting committee. So if, we are definitely going to approve of them, why then go through all the stress to vet them?
Thank you very much for this question. As I first said, the essence of vetting is to first be a check on the executive.
Okay.
And two, to let people, citizens know persons who are going to even lead them in the various sectors of the economy. But one important thing we should also bear in mind is that most of the time, political parties and the executive, before they do their appointment for people to occupy positions when it comes to ministerial position, also do their background check.
Okay.
So there are instances where a party or a the presidential candidate or the president, let me use the president, appoint somebody as a minister. When you see Buhari from the side of his party, or people who know the person come out and say, this person is not a party person, this person he cannot work. And sometimes you have instances where these nominations are withdrawn. So it's not about they going to, it's more likely all members who are selected or nominated for ministerial appointment might go through. But the problem I have in the current vetting is the way and manner question has been asked. Ghana, we believe in three main religions: Christianity, our traditional, and Islam. Why do people's religion become questioned when they come to vetting? Why do people belonging to Christianity become an issue when they are being vetted? Those things I see is a non-starter. It's something we should not entertain. It's something that I think is even an eyesore to the very constitution we are all trying to protect. Because my religion is not important. Because if I'm a Christian, if I'm a traditionalist, if I'm a Muslim, does not matter. What matters is my incompetency. Whether the person is going to mind that position can really do the job. Let's look at the likes of Samuel Okuta Bloka, Sam George, and etc. They spend more than an hour. And some of the questions they were being asked were not related to the ministry they are going to manage. And the question is, have you even assessed the level of competence of people who are going to vet? Does it mean any member of parliament can join the vetting committee? You should also tell, if you are not competent, you cannot assess a competent person. There's a saying that iron sharpens iron.
Definitely.
So if the MP going to do the vetting himself have challenges, do you think he can go ahead and ask those questions? Is it because a fair market is related to a fraternity that people are talking about? He wants everybody who is also affiliated to any fraternity to be known to Ghanaians. These things must stop now.
Now, in relation to the Honorable Afenyo Markin and his tactics during this vetting process, do you think that because he is an opposition party member, he is intentionally having a vendetta against his other opponents who have been appointed by the president to serve the country?
The issue is when you have a macro minority, these are some of the things you can do in order to gain praise from the masses. So all what you do is not things that if a normal day Afenyo Markin will do. He's doing those being appointed as the minority leader, people were not in support with.
Hello, sir.
Can you hear me?
Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm there.
Hello, please, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well.
We would have to take a break and then get back with Mr. Adai. But he was making some very interesting points there that the vetting is actually necessary. But some of the things that are being asked of the appointees, he sees that they are too playful. I think Debbie actually raised that concern as well. But I mean, they might have their own reasons for doing these things, but if a vetting can take much more than 2 to 3 hours, look at St. George's vetting.
Yes.
Look at Okudjeto's vetting. He had to actually, because he knew how it has been processed already with people who were vetted ahead of him. He had to carry some documents in bag or boxes to the vetting committee room, and it was, I mean, why should anyone go for vetting and be carrying documents of evidences? Because he thinks that people are going to interrogate him based on some things that he has actually put out there as a people. So, I mean, we will be going back to the lines and speak to Mr. Adai. I'm just hoping that the lines will save us this time. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Please, can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Please, can you hear me? Wow. The phone lines are disappointing us this morning, but no yawa. God day, we day. So, in a way, it's people actually think that it's not even necessary. Yeah, it's more like they are just having a personal vendetta against themselves in that vetting room.
Well, some of the questions thrown at them because sound like a bit harsh and hate.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
You have grudge.
I see you have an issue with the person, so this is the only time I can mafia you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sorry, our phone lines have been very interrupted this morning. We are very sorry about that. So please, as you were saying.
From the point I was making was that
Yeah.
based on the size of minority we have,
Yeah.
the minority leader want to score more political points for his followers.
Okay.
So he's doing all these things so that he may get praise from the masses. And
Okay.
one thing we need to bear in mind is MPP is a party that has lost power, who is going through a restructuring process to rebuild their party. So the only way Parliament can help the party is by holding the government very tight, so that people will see they are working.
Yeah. But I mean, isn't that a good cause, a good exercise from the Parliament? Because if we can hold these people tightly accountable, it's going to serve a great deal to the nation as a whole. Or?
But the question is, how do people belonging to a fraternity help to develop a nation?
Well, we
Some
can.
questions are not necessary. If you ask me, look at the banter between and John Jumalo. Are you a Catholic? Do you pay your dues? These questions are irrelevant. The person is going to mind the deputy agri ministry. How by paying tithes and those things help the farmer to grow more cassava? you get the point.
I do.
So the person paying tithes, the person mentioning the name of his pastor is not important. Those are basic questions that a secondary school student looking for an employment at a private school in a village. These are questions they ask them. You go to church so that you come and teach our children how to sing hymns.
Yeah.
Ministries are not for singing of hymns. They are for serious business.
Sure. Okay.
So I'm a minority leader and the likes to learn.
Okay. So in what form would you presume that the vetting, the question should be structured so that we can get the actual purpose of why people are being vetted for various positions?
Thank you very much. I think if I have the chance to meet the Constitutional Review Committee, I will tell them they should scrap the vetting committee, but rather make it ministers appearing before the various committee based. If you are coming as a minister of communication, appear before the communication subcommittee of parliament, so that the ministers at that committee have more expertise and can ask you questions related to your areas. And again, after bringing those members of those committees, you should bring experts. For instance, the CEO of some of these companies like MTN and other sectors who are related to communication should be part of that committee. It should not only be that of members of parliament. We should also have experts who are coming from the masses to join, so that we can ask expert questions.
Wow, that is an interesting and very educative point you just made, Mr. Adai. Yeah.
But who are those that make up the vetting committee? Can anyone at all vet anybody?
It's only the majority and minority are giving numbers based on the numbers they have in the house, and they are asked to nominate people to be on the committee. That is it.
Oh, okay.
And other members are also friends to the committee, and sometimes committee members based on the area are allowed when the minister is coming to their sector.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know. Sir, before you go, yesterday, in relation with John Dumelo, and I mean yesterday actually was some vetting made for deputy ministers. Concerns has been raised that, I mean, as a deputy going to assist a minister, do they really need to be vetted? Because there's not much for them to do other than whatever their bosses
assign them to.
Exactly. It's not like they are going to perform a different task from what their bosses are going to do. So vetting of deputy ministers, is it really a necessity?
I think it's a no and yes.
Okay.
Why is it yes? The yes is that deputy minister can act, can be in an acting position for some days. Okay. And if because he need to also carry a vision, that must also align with his boss or her boss. Okay. It's necessary sometimes we also know their background or their understanding about the whole case. You get it?
Yes,
I was happy, for instance, for the appointment of Don Dimelo because he is an entertainer but have entered into a Greek and he's making it. Okay. So he just being there, he can serve as a mentor to a lot of young people who think they cannot farm.
Sure.
And the no is every deputy is sharing the vision of his boss. So what about if they all have different visions? What happens when they go to the ministry?
Okay.
So I will even propose that ministers should be vetted with their deputies.
Okay. So
they vet them together so that we know where the two of them want to take us to.
Wow. I've really enjoyed some of the points you've been making.
And one important thing I've learned from this current government, John Dramani Mahama, is from what I know, most of the ministers were appointed based on the consultation of the main minister. So I think it's not going to create a lot of rivalry. They are rather going to work together to achieve a common vision.
Oh, okay. So the ministers themselves were consulted on whom they think will be an appropriate deputy to them.
They are bringing on board as their deputies.
Oh, wow. That's
what I've heard. So I think if that was the case, I think it's something right that we should follow as a country.
Okay. And what are some of the advantages you think it will have on the impact of their leadership heading in these particular ministries?
Two lions can never rule a town. So if the minister is consulted, one thing is they mostly will propose somebody they think they can work with.
Okay.
Somebody who share their vision.
Okay.
If you read the like of the defense ministry, that Dr. Omani Boama, and what's the name? I've got the deputy nominated for defense. This man, Asante Region, was former Asante Regional organizer of the NDC, youth organizer of the NDC.
Okay.
Buja Jamfi. Buja have been a very strong ally of Omani Boama. Even one of his posts, he wrote on his Facebook post years ago, about 12 years ago, that he
wishes to
he one day become his deputy. And today that story has come to pass.
Wow.
So I think this pair like this can work very well, and they can help in the interest of the nation. Because we have gotten towards a time in Ghana that the executive secretary to the IGP became the NDC parliamentary candidate, whilst MPP was in power. So all these things did not help. So I think if we have ministers sharing the same vision with their deputies, they work very well, and I think it promotes development.
It will promote development. But so far, looking at some of the appointments that's already been made, what do you make of it? Are the people fit enough, competent enough, capable enough to handle these positions that the president has assigned them to?
One important thing I like about this appointment is that looking at the various cabinet ministers, you see these people are mature people who have proven to Ghanaians that they have what it takes to lead their various sectors. Let's take the likes of the Agric Minister, Dr. Eric Opoku. Look at how competent this man was even before the vetting committee. Look at his eloquence when the NDC was in opposition. He told us he himself is a practical farmer. So if this man, I don't think this man can fail. Let's take the likes of Honorable Haruna Idrisu, a very competent man. He's an icon in the north. I don't think he's going to fail the education ministry. Look at the best negotiation ever in Ghanaian history, when Honorable Rashid Pepo led the Labour to have a very fruitful meeting, inviting the certain president to be at the meeting. These are competent people. Look at the likes of the Minister for Justice and Attorney General. Look at the work he have done so far. We are hoping God will give them that strength, that power to continue with the good work. And I know if they continue the way they started, Ghana will turn to paradise.
Ghana will turn to paradise. That is such a great submission for Mr. Dai. Mr. Dai, before we leave you to go, tomorrow we are expecting the first State of Nations address from the President, John Dramani Mahama. What are your expectations of the President?
I think I want the State of the Nation. You should give us the true state of the nation. One thing is government go, government come. When governments are in power, they have their own economies. When they leave power, they also have their own economies. I know today, if you ask any MPP member, he's going to tell you the economy is hard. But you have forgotten they left power less than 2 months ago. So if you left power and just 2 months ago, the economy is hard, then you have problem. I always say, if you want to see a very good performance of every government, wait for the second year. Because in the first quarter budget was not prepared by him. The first quarter budget was prepared by the previous government. So meaning the first quarter budget have influence of the previous government. So I think tomorrow I'm expecting the president to tell us more about the state of the nation. Also, I'm looking at him telling us more about employment, youth development, and his vision for Ghana in the next, not the next 2-3 years, so that we see where Ghana is heading towards.
That's
for the last thing I want to add is, I want to know if the president wants us to join BRICS. Are we going to join BRICS? Is it important? These are things, because indirectly the president has been speaking about BRICS. In most of his speech, we heard him talking about BRICS. We want him to tell us his true direction. Is he ready to join them? And let's see how it's going to help us.
Let's see how it is going to help us. Thank you, Mr. Adai. So from next week we will be expecting Mr. Adai in the studios of GhanaTalks Radio. He will be coming here every Wednesday to hold on discussions with us on the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. So until then, thank you very much for all the great submissions you've made. Very educative, very insightful, and we hope to see you next week in GhanaTalks Radio studios.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
And I greet all your audience and your panelists.
Sure. Have a nice day, sir. So that was Mr. Adai Peter, who elaborated on the vetting and its influence that it has on the administration and governance of the country. I think he made some
solid,
very solid points. I mean, especially where he said that the consultation which were made by the president to the ministers on whom they will feel comfortable working with as their deputies, it makes sense. It actually makes sense because that harmony between two leaders can actually help the leadership of so it makes sense.
Well, I'm just hoping that they didn't pick somebody simply because they know the person or that's the friend or something. That's another side of it. That's another side of it. Their competence and what they can do and bring on board.
Well, I also like the fact that he said when a minister is being appointed, there should be the committee should involve committees that has a background of say a communication minister. It really makes sense. With that, you are in already, so you know the questions to ask me, and it to be on that
subject.
Yes, it's not going to be. But when you mix people who do not have fair knowledge about agriculture, they will definitely ask you questions that do not make sense.
Look at Afenyo. What does he know about agriculture?
Just look at the questions. You see, it really makes sense, and I'm sure it will even cut down costs because this appointee this thing. I hope they are taking something.
They are taking
it will cut down costs. So if with their communication, maybe they take 2 solid people from the communication team and then from other institutions that have this in-depth knowledge about communication, and then they invite you.
Still on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. This is Ghana Talks Radio. Join the conversation on all our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio. Don't forget to add your hashtag at Ghana Talks Radio. Hashtag Ghana Talks BFS. Ghana Talks BFS. Now, on to our next subject. The Ghana Shippers Authority yesterday held a meeting where some stakeholders of the shipping lines and importers, industry players who are into importing and especially the cars, because cars in the one they have. Manager person talk up, but or sharp. Maybe a price now could do not or duty
unless the duties alone is even half the price of the car.
So bad.
So yes, they spoke with these people and then they said that they were going to sit and review the charges. What do you think this is going to make to the industry players, the people who import cars, not just cars but so many people? You can go.
I see it to be a very good one because you are importing a vehicle, or let's say those who deal with spare parts, and then those who sell dresses or stuff, because people import a lot of American wares, especially when it has to do with this used clothes. A lot of them import them, and a lot of things, almost 99% of things we consume in this country are imported. So if the duties are much, trust me, it affects the prices of the goods. And so we are feeling it more because I cannot go and buy a vehicle, let's say at a cost of $100 or whatever and then I'm paying a duty that is times 3 of that. Then it's better just dash the car to you. You see, and it has make it so difficult, especially when you're importing it and you're coming to use it alone. It's a bit okay, but in a case where you are importing something that you are coming to sell, that's why I made an example of the spare parts. And drivers use spare parts a lot, and most of it they complain because they'll be like, they increase prices of fuel every day, but the prices of spare parts do not decreased. And then speaking to some of these people who sell this spare parts and stuff, complain about the duties they pay when they import this spare parts from outside the country today. So the only thing they can also do is increase the price so that they don't get they don't run at loss. You see, so if they want to review this, it's a very serious. This duty, this is a very it
affects
a lot. Yes, and then it has made a lot of businesses collapse.
It has made a lot of business collapse. With that, we will go on the phones to speak to Mr. Ibin Yusuf Isaka. He's an industry player when it comes to the Importers Association, and he is the CEO of Angels Garage Ghana Limited. He is on the phones to have a discussion with us regarding the statement made by the GSA in regards to reviewing charges at the ports on their products. Good morning, Mr. Yusuf. Good morning, sir. Please, can you hear me? Yes. Yeah. You are welcome on Ghana Talks Radio. This Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Yesterday there was a communication from the Ghana Shapers Authority to industry players that they have heard and listened to the cries of the industry folks, you importers in the industry, that the charges are making things very difficult for you, and so they are putting in place measures to review these charges at the ports. How does this news appear to you as an industry player?
Okay, great. Good morning to you and to your viewers once again.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me on your show. I'm happy to be here.
Sure.
First of all, this news, when it comes to you as an importer, or let's say a customs broker, or a used vehicle dealer in Ghana, or maybe you're just a dealer in Ghana, it also is very news for you because it doesn't only affect you as the industry players, but it affects a whole couple of other people who are involved in the chain of bringing vehicles into the country. And not only vehicles as well. So before I will explain how this thing works, let me just shed some light on how the whole thing goes. The overage penalty tax was introduced, I think, before 2021.
Okay.
So before that era, let's say you are importing a 2015 Toyota Corolla. Or let's say a 2013, which is an older model, you will not spend more than 70,000 Ghana when it comes to purchasing a car overseas, your shipping cost, then your duty payment or other service payment. Everything can fit into about 30 or 40,000 Ghana.
Wow.
You don't have a problem.
Wow.
Yes. But since the overage penalty was introduced in 2021, this decision alone by government affected everybody involved in this thing. You understand? Because you are going to buy that car, the 2013 Corolla we are talking about, you are buying it for, let's say, $1,000 in the US. For example, in the US, you are going to pay for your what do you call it? Towing, logistics. Let's say logistics, then shipment. Then you come to Ghana, they will tax your duty for you, and the total is about, you are paying about 70,000 in taxes alone, vehicle duty alone.
Wow.
Yes. So when you come to the market and you're looking for a full new 2013 Toyota Corolla, you see that currently the prices are about 150,000, 158,000, 160,000.
Wow. 2013 Corolla.
2013 Toyota Corolla. This is just for an example.
Okay.
You see, so when we go back to the GSA, they issued a report that they were calling on all of us agents, because I'm also an agent. I import vehicles, I'm a dealer as well. So the import and shipment, so practically drastically from 2021 downwards up to now. It was so bad, vessels were not coming to the port anymore, they continued.
Wow.
And this thing is going to affect sprayer, is going to affect mechanics, it's affecting people, anybody who has worked on vehicles.
Yeah.
So shedding light on this subject alone, government says that now we are going to scrap that overage penalty again. This is what it's going to do. We will see that there will be an import in rising.
Okay.
For vehicles alone, because now the used vehicles and the new vehicles almost have the same prices on the market.
Yeah.
For example, a 2016 Honda Civic. Current price in the market now for a recently cleared one is 260,000.
Whoa. A 2016.
You will find a 2016 Honda Civic 260,000 recently cleared.
Whoa.
Because you are paying duty for about almost 180,000. How much are you buying the vehicle? And if the vehicle is accidented, you will bring the car, you have to put it together, you are buying parts, and you see that the prices of the car, the spare parts are also increased. So to put the vehicle together and bring it back to the market is also another story on its own.
Wow.
So when government says that they are going to use the taxes, this is what we have been praying for.
Okay.
A lot of people are home, they are unemployed. People like me, they cannot keep vehicles anymore. There are a lot of people outside, they are stuck.
Wow.
Because the container alone, let's say a 40% container, you're putting one vehicle inside, you are paying about 8,000.
Yeah.
That is for the vehicle container charges alone. You haven't come to the terminal charges. You see, or any other small charges you are going to be paying. And let's say like the COVID levy. It is something we have been talking about day in, day out.
Wait. Mr. Ibin, wait. There is COVID levy on vehicles that you clear at the port as well? COVID levy?
There are we can count up to 24 taxes.
On a vehicle?
24.
On a vehicle, 24 taxes.
Okay, wait. Please, let's now
digest
before this overrate penalties were introduced in 2021, how many taxes were you paying then, and how was the pricing of vehicles then before this 2021 skyrocketing charges in your clearance?
So before 2021, the major duties or the major taxes you are paying will be your VAT and the import duty.
Just those two?
The other ones are, those are the major ones.
Okay.
There are other taxes, but those are the major ones. There's NHIS levy, FUAS levy, all those small levies. They don't really amount to much. Just a small percentage of the duty.
Okay.
Put it together. Okay. But now, because of the overage penalty, every vehicle you are bringing, you are paying about 10% of the total duty in addition.
Wow.
And yes, the vehicle count, the valuation, the state of the vehicle and everything, they put it together and they complete the tax for you.
Wow.
You see, so this is the problem we are facing. So when government, the new administration says that they are going to review these taxes for us, it's good news. We are happy. We can smile. We can wake up and we can be happy.
Sure.
Because we know that for whatever reason, people who have been out of the business can come back to the business.
Sure.
You can take up your dollars, you can bring your vehicle, and for whatever amount you can pay and bring your car to the market, come and meet your bill and get your money.
So
this is why we see the prices of used vehicles in the country skyrocketing. Because you cannot import, you cannot import, and if you cannot import, there's going to be demand for the vehicles here in the country already.
Sure.
One other disadvantage or one other problem that this also brings is that since you can't use the right channel to import the vehicles because of the taxes, people will try and use other means. You see that they will be bringing unfortunate vehicles from the neighboring countries.
Okay.
You see, the Somali vehicles, they are going to start in the market.
Yeah.
You see, the vehicles are really paid and all that.
So how does all these things How does all these things come into play to affect you, the industry people?
Okay, affecting us positively or negatively?
So far negatively. How has it affected your businesses? All these high charges being placed on,
yeah, the high charges, we are saying that number one, you are going to go out of business. That is the first thing. You are going to go out of business. Number two, unemployment. Because let's say if Mr. Isaka, I have about 10 employees I am working with.
Okay.
And I have this problem to deal with. I cannot import cars anymore. What am I going to do? I'm going to lay off my workers.
Sure.
You understand?
Yes.
And it's also, as I said before, it's also going to be affecting the people who are involved in the chain. Because if I bring an accidental vehicle, number one, I'm going to hire an agent to collect the car.
Okay.
Number two, when the car goes out, at the state zone or at the Jubilee car park, we have drivers or two drivers, they also be affected. You can go there and go and see. They are all packed. There's no job for them to do. So after the 2 weeks, then I'm taking the car to the mechanic shop to go and do my spraying, my whatever I'm going to do there. They are also affected.
Wow.
You see, before when it's done, I bring it to the market or to the garage for it to be sold. So in this change, if I am an employer, I'm going to be cutting down my expenses by laying people off.
Wow.
Yes, then number three is going to affect the quality of the vehicles you have in the country, because you cannot pay a high price for a quality vehicle and come and sell it low.
Okay.
So people will definitely opt for the accidental ones, the ones that are low in price. Yes, and this also accounts for safety.
Yeah.
The safety, the vehicle, how the vehicle is put together.
Yeah.
You understand where I'm coming from? Yes, so a whole lot.
Wow, a whole lot. So with the communication from the GSA yesterday, what is the impact is it going to have on the business now? Positively, I mean.
So positively, it runs the same way. If only they are able to sit down and give you the they give us positive responses or results. We know that for one, we can go back to the business, which means that the import is still going through, right?
Yeah.
We will see a rise in importation containers to start coming to the terminal for us to start working on employment. That it will return.
Yeah.
It will be reversed. People will start getting their jobs back to do. You understand?
Yes, sir.
From them on and more.
Oh, okay. So my co-hostess would like to ask you a few questions as well. Let's see.
No problem.
All right. So in your conversation, you said you are paying 24 taxes currently, right?
Yes.
So which of the taxes do you think they are relevant to pay, and which one do you think they are irrelevant, so the government can strap that off?
So as I was saying, the irrelevant taxes, number one is the profit levy, because we are not dealing with profit anymore.
Yeah.
You understand? And there are some charges that are, let's say, the network charges, which means that the means through which they are taxing you, they are still taking money for that. You understand where I'm coming from? So I don't know the full taxes here. I would have just pointed out the few that if they were taking off.
All right.
Yeah, we put the business would have been good for us.
Okay. Debbie.
Please, do high import duties affect the competitiveness of local businesses?
Very much it does. So let's put the competition into context. Let's say that I am importing through the right channel.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm bringing my customer overseas to the port. I'm paying my duties and bringing it to the market. Yeah. But I have another dealer who is going to Togo to go and buy the car for them. We have the other channel who is to pass to get the vehicle documented and everything and bring it to the market. We will be selling for lower. I will be selling for higher. It's going to affect my market.
Wow. This has been one of the most enlightening conversations I've had. regarding this particular issue. But sir, before we leave you to go, we've had this custom that things go high based on taxes and stuff, but when these taxes are removed, the prices stay same. Are we to believe that if the GSA should actually review these charges, drop some of these unnecessary taxes, you industry players are also going to do diligently well to reduce your prices as well?
Yes, on this issue, this is where we need a regulatory body.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say that we cannot say that because the taxes have been tracked as one, all the vehicles in Ghana, the prices should reduce. Why? Because they have these things that have been imported already, and overage penalty has been paid on them already, and they're already in the count.
Yeah, sure.
You cannot say that that particular bill or that particular count, the person should just reduce the price.
Yeah.
So we call them old stock. We call them old stocks that are already on the market. So there should be a regulatory body that can say that, okay, we are starting the taxes, but effective January 1st, effective 3rd March, effective this day, we want to see a reduction in the prices of cars.
Okay.
We are giving dealers and outlets information. We are sure that by 4 months you have sold the cars you have imported already.
Yeah.
Yes, so we are starting the taxes, but at this very moment, we are beginning the reduction of the vehicle prices in the country.
Oh,
I think that line alone is going to really help.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So, any last words you have regarding this particular issue or communication from the GSA?
Okay, so I am not really going to say much, but I'm only saying that we are hoping. There's a lot of hope. We are praying that, as they have said, we are going to do it.
Sure.
Because yes, as we have explained already, it's going to affect us in a more positive way than not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we are confident.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ibin. You are an importer and a car dealer yourself. We are giving you this platform to tell us where you are located. If someone wants to get in touch with you to make a purchase and all that, how they can reach you.
Amazing. So my garage is at North 75. My office is at Temako 51.
Okay.
I am a customs broker.
Okay.
I'm an agent. I also deal in the equipment and info. You can reach me on all social media platforms.
Okay.
Angels Garage Ghana.
Angels Garage Ghana.
On WhatsApp. Angels Garage Ghana.
Okay.
On WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Instagram. We are active, we are live. Bring the cars you are selling, bring the cars that you are buying, the deals you are buying, all that we are ready to do business with you.
Okay. So your WhatsApp line?
Our WhatsApp is 050 46 77 084.
Okay. Please repeat for me. 050 46 77 084. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Ibin Yusuf Isaka, for making time with us on Ghana Talks Radio this morning on our Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. We will always welcome you in our studios and on our airwaves whenever you want to make a publication or even advertise your products. Thank you. And enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you. So that was Mr. Ibin Yusuf Isaka, CEO of Angels Garage Ghana Limited. They deal in cars and all that. So, next month is my birthday. I am requesting a gift, a car gift from you.
Okay.
You know the distance I used to come here. So buy me a car. It's okay.
Or maybe Okada.
Do you have an
Since the government
do you have an airport in Anya? Oh, you want to buy me Okada?
They are legalizing Okada.
Yes, yesterday I saw an Okada man being smashed by
for your life.
Hey, please, I'll walk.
Okay.
So yes, that was Mr. Ibin He's wow. I mean,
and some of the taxes they are still paying.
We are still paying COVID taxes.
24
taxes on a car.
On a car.
Wow. I mean, the 2013 Civic is going for 260,000. 2013.
Hey.
I've not understand why some of the drivers behave the way they do.
Oh yes, yes.
It's not on the floor.
Yeah, crowd. And this is just a cow. So you can imagine the spare parts and all that. Afterwards, you come and buy fuel. Look at our fuel and look at our minimum wage.
with the COVID levy he talked about.
Yeah,
COVID is, I mean, has
even China.
We're still paying COVID.
Where the COVID originated from, they are not paying COVID tax. Ghana.
Ghana we day.
Stay with us on GhanaTalks Breakfast Show.
Ghana, my motherland. My motherland.
You can join the conversation on all our social media platforms at GhanaTalks Radio, at GhanaTalks Radio. Also on WhatsApp 0202-544-614, 0202-544-614. Now we will be moving to our next topic very soon, but this topic there, I'm looking at Ipa debut. This one you for tell us play.
Yes, since you are a journalism student, I guess we'll learn from you today.
Now, next topic says that, and I mean as an observation, social media has become they have this term they use for it.
The
ish, it's now the ish. It's like the Gen Z of or whatever the media. Social media is now the Gen Z of the media fraternity, and so it has really impacted journalism in a way. A whole lot. Right now we have bloggers who have classified themselves in another form of journalism. I mean, it makes sense because journalism is just about giving out information, taking information and feeding the masses with those information. Or Debbie?
Yeah,
Debbie is a journalist, so I mean, anything we are going to refer to here today. Me, I'm not a journalist.
Oh, before that, we have some comments on Facebook.
Sure, let's go and read these comments.
So Nana Boats is watching. Is it the morning showing? Said I'm watching live from Kumasi and Toso. Yeah, he's watching us all the way from Kumasi and Atonsu. And Atonsu.
Say it again. Atoso.
Atoso.
Atoso. Atonsu. Please read the message again because you didn't get it. Read it again.
Nana Bo says, I'm watching you all the way from Kumasi and Toso. Atonsu. You can't blame me, I'm anyway.
Yes, Nana Bo, we are glad to hear from you all the way from Atonsu. Stay tuned with us every morning, every day, as we bring you all the news outlets that you would need. Also, don't forget to send your comments and your views, your suggestions, everything you want the masses to hear on our breakfast show. So thank you and enjoy your day in our boat. Debbie, now this particular issue, I mean, journalism, which has been in a way been overwhelmed by social media. What do you think, as a journalist, the impact of social media on journalism?
The impact of social media on journalism is very huge, because those times where traditional media exists, and then traditional media has to do with the outlet of, let me say, tools before, before the internet, right? Yes, before the internet. I'm asking you, as you know, before the internet. So that has to do with the radio. That has to do with, billboards. You know, those times before you actually hear for someone is very hard. And I remember those times they use there is this thing. Is it post office box? No, there, like someone will send you an email and then you have to go to an office for the letter. Post office, yes, post office, and you can actually send that letter, and it will take like 3 months or 4 months for you to get that letter. So now let's bring it to let's look at the journalistic side. Those times where traditional media was there, it was very difficult for people to access like easy information. The dissemination of information was very hard or very difficult, and you see those times journalists are being kept at one place, because like you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that, and the stress and all that. But when the new media came, it became so easy for us, because the new media has to introduce television, the internet, where you can actually source information from the social media, and also go to the background to source for information, unlike with the traditional media. And with the journalistic side, now journalists go to the field to report, and then they come back, and then it's very easy for them to put the information out there for people to get. But in those days, it's like you are the reporter, you are the editor, you are like, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that, and before it gets out there, it's very hard. And you will testify to the fact that not everyone has a radio, or not everyone has the money to buy the paper, the newspaper, even though today the newspaper still exists. But trust me, everyone is even now on the social media more than even on the television.
But then if you don't have money for radio or even paper, but you have money for phone to go to social media.
Oh, you see, that is why it's new media. Like, once the world evolves, you also evolve around it and make sure that you are not left behind. So as the world evolves and there is change of mind, there is change of everything, you also try to change so that there will be this kind of connection. Like you also upgrade. Yes, you upgrade yourself. So you see, and those times it was radio, then gradually the etikopon came. You know etikopon, the radio that has this cha-cha-cha at the back.
I don't know.
Oh, you know it. Etikopon, like it has a cha-cha, and then you see the disc. It's not like this flash screen that you have to use remote for it. Etikopon came, then gradually now we have flash screen, we have social media. You can actually go onto the internet and then you search something and then you get it. You see, so it has also increased engagement. Those times there is no two-way communication, it's just a one-way communication. But now when information is sent out there, you get a feedback from the people so easily. First, you don't get it as quick as you're supposed to get it. It's just a one-way communication, and then journalism has to do with a two-way communication, because as I'm sending an information out there, I'm sending the information because I want a feedback, so that feedback I'll analyze it and then use it for the purpose of which I am actually communicating to you. And so it has really helped a lot. Then content innovation, shift in advertising revenue, speed of information dissemination. That's what I've said. First, you don't even get to see or have the information on board like of late. Now, even with the slightest incident that has happened, before you cough, it's already on the social media. Before you even get out where, or maybe in those days, you only hear people coming to say, hey, yes, say, like something has happened here without you even hearing. But of course, you don't even do that. I've seen people who say that they bought the television and it has now become a waste of time, because immediately you own your data. Even things you don't want to see, like they just start popping all over the world. And so the new media has really helped in various aspects, news dissemination, even putting out your report. You can actually go out to report with people, and whatever the information you are taking from them, you are putting it on the page, and they can actually see what, like, the information you've gathered from them. But in those days with the traditional media, even if I go to report from you, how will you even see what is going on? You don't even know what is going on. And those times people feel so, I don't know whether they feel intimidated to express themselves. But as I said, and as you said, you are in a Gen Z world, and as the world is revolving, so that you will not be looked as you are an arcade person. You have to also revolve yourself around, and so that you can actually also contribute. Because as for the Gen Zs, they will contribute a lot. The social media gives to us and also give to them. So with journalism, it has really helped. It has really helped, especially with disseminating of information and the two-way communication.
The interaction
and access to information is now very easy. As in those times. Because now everyone has access. You can actually listen to whatever the person has gone out to report from. And because of social media, even the internet, even if I'm at Anya and something is going on in the OT or Volta region, if I can't go there, I have a reporter or a source there. I can call with my phone, and this has truly helped.
This has truly helped a lot, says Miss Deborah. You see.
So to add up to your voice,
a lot.
I think social media has transformed how news is produced.
Wow.
How it's transmitted, and even how it is consumed. So let's take our radio station as an example. With the use of social media, we are able to stream live on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, and then X. With that, people get to see what we are doing. People get to consume what we are giving to them. Now, access to information. Now it has become very easy. Just you even putting in the keyword of what you are looking for. Let me use Galamsey as an example. Maybe you put in Galamsey in Google. It gives you the news, it gives you the images, and even attached videos and old stories that has been documented on Galamsey. So I think the use of social media has really helped shape our journalism entity a lot. But in a way, I think it has affected the traditional media simply because people do not patronize newspapers. Here lies the case. We have Daily Graphic online. Why would I go to Graphic? Why would I go and stand in traffic or maybe board a car all the way to Accra? You know, there are vintage points that these newspaper sellers stand, and then you have to travel all the way there to go and buy newspaper simply because you want to know what is going on. Whilst I have my phone, just go to social media, put in Daily Graphic online, and you read everything. So I think in that it has affected the traditional media in a way that it has made reading lazy for people to do. But
reading lazy, but then before you continue, the same thing in the papers.
It's
the same thing posted online. I mean, am I not reading the same thing?
You might be reading, but the way when you're reading on your phone, your attention is not really there. Sometimes messages really pop up and then your attention just changes and then you find yourself doing something different. But when I'm having the Daily Graphic and I'm reading the newspaper, a hard copy, I'm focused. I'm reading word to word and I'm imagining even how the journalist will be reading such words out. But when you're holding your phone, you'll be reading and then an ad even pops up in the midst of you reading. That's a form of advertisement and that is very distracting. Let me say. So it makes reading very lazy.
Really?
Yes. It makes reading very lazy. To me, in my opinion.
That's your opinion.
Because I'll be reading and then maybe my boyfriend will say, "Hey baby, of course I'm going to go get it." So it makes reading very lazy.
Now I understand where the whole distraction is.
Not to just only maybe that romantic part of it, but to me, I feel reading newspaper online makes you lazy.
Really?
Yeah, because if you have the hard copy, you're concentrated, you're sipping some tea, you're reading. In as much as
the food didn't distract AC.
No, but the ads and some messages on your phone whilst you are reading something, it makes reading lazy for me.
And you know, those times yellow journalism was very common. Yellow journalism has to do with people.
Yellow journalism?
Yes, yellow journalism.
What was yellow journalism?
So yellow journalism has to do with like people posting things or saying things that you don't even know whether they exist or not, but because they want to catch the attention of the public, and because those time is with the traditional media, and we don't have a lot of media that this one will come to say something, then another station will confirm it. Just like the way you have TV3, Joy News, and other, you see the station saying the same thing with vivid proof. With the yellow journalism, it's not like that, because you might have maybe only one station or one reporter in that time, and so whatever they are saying, whether it's true, whether it's not true, you are just there and you are listening.
No way of verifying.
Yes, if you are feeding with fake information, you are just there, you are receiving it just like that. And it was very common because a lot of them wants to catch the attention of the people. Yes, and so they'll post something that even do not exist, or something that will cause panic to the state. And it was very common in the Western world, even though it was in Africa, but very common in the Western world, when they post things. Even now bloggers do same, because they can post something on social media and then the heading plus what the person is saying do not correlate. And sometimes it's the heading that attract us, and then you see a very nice heading, you tap on this and the story is different.
It's different,
just to catch your attention. And with that you can actually detect, because you can see that same information on another platform, and then it talks about the topic it has been posted.
But don't you think that is misinformation? Yeah,
misinformation. Yes, misinformation as well. And so today misinformation is there, but it's not that rampant like when the traditional media was a hot cake. Yes.
Okay. So, but then, so will you say that social media has come to expand or advance the reach of news through journalism?
Yes, it did.
Yes. Now I don't have to sit and wait till 6 a.m., 12 a.m. and 6 p.m. for news. Once I pick my phone, go to TV3 website or GhanaTalks radio website, their news and articles are all there.
Okay.
So you have access to it anytime, any day, wherever you are. You don't have to sit behind the radio or maybe the TV at specific time to get information.
Yeah.
So I think it has broadened it a lot and expanded it.
Yes, it has really expanded everything that has to do with news. As I said, when the traditional media was a hot cake, it's very difficult to access information. You just be like, I'll be there, Islam will come and tell me, Deborah, haven't you heard this? And so far as there is no social media or anything, I just believe it, whether she's telling the truth or I believe it.
So,
but now, if she's saying something that I can actually go to the mail and prove her wrong, madam, there's the proof of what you're saying is wrong.
In relation to this, we actually have Mr. Solomon Tommy on the phone to share with us his insights on the social media's impact on journalism and how it's affected the traditional journalism. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
By His grace, I'm doing well. Yourself?
I am also doing very great. Just that I haven't really had any wache or gobe to eat, as you would always put it. So. Please, we welcome you on Ghana Talks Radio. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Thank you very much.
So, there is a discussion on the topic of social media's impact on journalism and how it has affected the traditional journalism. What would you say about this, sir?
Okay, once again, let me give you a very good morning and then a special greeting to your panelists.
Sure.
Social media emergence, to me, has had a very significant impact on the consumption of traditional media content. With the emergence of social media, it has positively and negatively affected the circulation of media information to the public.
Okay.
For instance, before anything even happens now in the traditional media, you might have already seen it way in the social media.
Sure.
So it is making the listenership, the viewership, and the readership of the traditional media currently reducing. and especially the youth now are all playing on social media. And it is making credibility of news reducing, because many a times the information people put out on social media is not verified, it's not credible, it's even not a true reflection of what actually happened that they are putting out. So it is making a lot of fake news circulate in the system. Sometimes it even causes fear and panic. Now you hear the thing, for instance, me, if I see anything or hear anything on the social media, I have to go verify with a credible traditional media. So it is also putting a challenge to the traditional media houses to make sure that they also get all the people who are floating, who are not locked up on traditional media, to be on social media. For instance, you can have a brand as big as BBC CNN on social media. It should tell you that now the majority of the people are now playing on social media. Right?
Yes, sir.
But the fear is that if what we consume from social media is not taken care of, it can cause a problem for us as a people. So we are not downplaying the relevance of traditional media. For me, for the sake of credibility, authenticity, traditional media still remains a very good source for media content. Even though I'm not saying that on social media is bad. It is not bad. There are times that the thing happens and comes to you in real time. As it is happening, it is coming to you. Unlike traditional media, if the thing is happening at a particular time, you have to wait for a certain period of time before the thing gets to you. But the social media also has its own way of bringing news to your doorstep. You don't need to walk to the roadside to go and buy graphic. You have the news come to you at the comfort of your room, at the comfort of your bed. Like anywhere you are, the news is with you. You don't need to be on radio every time. You are not always in your car driving. You are not always with your newspaper reading, but you are always with your phone. So it has good impact and it has bad impact. But I think that anything on social media needs to be verified. If not,
sorry, sir, can you continue?
So anything on social media, it needs proper verification and proper authentication. If not, you are going to also consume something and send out and turn out to be true.
What are some of the measures that you think should be put in place to sanitize the social media journalism, since sometimes it puts out information which creates panic in society?
Yes, of course, because we are a law-governed country, there should be punishment for people who turn out fake information. Because just on one single click or one single fake news that is goes out, it can spell doom for a whole country. Yes, it can spell doom for a whole country. So when people are not held accountable, people are not punished for sending out fake informations, I think one day somebody may plunge this whole world into chaos. So when someone is caught sending out fake information, I think the person must be brought to order. The person must face the consequences. Once we do that, we make people feel like there is punishment for sending out fake information. Now they will also verify whatever information they are putting out to the public before putting it out. If not, there will be very little we can do, because you can't control how I use my phone. It also doesn't mean that I can use my phone to say anything.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. Okay. Now, so before we leave you to go, the question of social media crippling traditional journalism has been on a high, in the sense that, for instance, back then you would go and buy your newspaper to get information. Right now, the same daily guide, the same graphic online, graphic news is giving you the same news item on social media. You pick your phone right now, you click on a daily guide, you get whatever it is. Now, people who used to survive on publishing of these graphic papers, people who used to go for this graphic and sell in traffics, distribute to people in their offices and their homes, the cry of their businesses being crippled has emerged. What do you say of this too, in relation to the emergence of social media overwhelming the journalism space?
So, journalism is very fluid. Journalism is very fluid. News is transient.
Okay.
So, what is relevant yesterday may not be relevant today.
Okay.
And we are in the fourth revolutionary times.
Okay.
And information technology has become the way to go. So if you are not moving with the advancement of time, you are going to be left behind. The world is fast moving, and it's fast moving on the internet. So it is through no fault of here that internet has become the order of the day.
Okay.
That is why the serious ones are also on social media.
Okay.
They are on the internet, and you can find them in real time.
Yeah.
Assuming graphic comes out today, this morning, and an incident happens that needs urgent societal attention.
Yeah.
You can't wait till the following morning to go and buy graphic to hear the news.
Okay.
Yes. So for that one, yes, there are people who are also the traditional media content consumption type. Like my grandfather, my grandmother, they don't even know what social media is about. So they still have their base. Just that with the upcoming generation, we feel like social media is more of our thing than the traditional media.
Okay.
So they also need to live up to the advancement of it. And it has come to stay.
Sure.
We cannot do anything about it. And I believe a time is even coming that it may completely be out of the system.
Wow.
Because even presidents are sending information on social media.
True.
You wake up every morning and Donald Trump is already on Twitter. Now X. Because he's already on X.
Yeah.
Because that is the way to go.
That is the way to go.
Before you even wake up, you will have the news.
Okay.
So yes, so the serious ones, they are already moving to the advancement of technology.
Okay.
And that is how the world is moving.
That is
so we cannot go back.
Okay, that is how the world is moving, says Mr. Solomon Tommy. So before we leave you to go this morning, tomorrow we are expecting the first State of the Nation's address by the President, John Dramani Mahama. What are your expectations?
I'm expecting hope for the people.
Okay.
Because just after the elections, it seems like everybody is calm now because we feel like we have brought an end to impunity.
Okay.
We feel like we have brought an end to impunity. The complaints were too much. We were almost at the crossroads. And by the grace of God, we've gone through this election again successfully. So tomorrow, I'm sure many of us are expecting to hear a message of hope.
Okay.
We are expecting to hear that our economy is coming back to what it used to be. The youth are ready, they want to hear a message of hope.
Okay.
And once that is delivered, I'm sure we are all good to go.
We are all good to go. So thank you very much, Mr. Solomon Tommy, for making time with us on GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. We will come your way again very soon, whenever needs be. Enjoy the rest of your day, sir. Thank you once again.
You are welcome.
Sure.
All right.
Sure. So that was Mr. Solomon Tommy, who gave us some beautiful insights into some of the impacts that social media has had on the traditional journalism, and also what the traditional journalism fraternities need to do to catch up with the world. For instance, Daily Graphic are now on social media as well. If you, you catch up with their news. So the traditionalists should move to the religious ways that has been.
It all boils down to their target audience.
Okay.
Because some of our oldies don't have mobile.
Yeah, I think that's also a great point.
Yeah.
Target audience.
It's funny sometimes when my dad comes back from work and then he opens the radio and like, oh, you're making noise. What do you come to say? I've already seen it. And then you come, there's a news pops on radio and be like, hey, did you hear this? And my mom would be like, I saw it on TikTok.
Whoa.
So it's like a dead news to her, and he is now getting to hear of it simply because he's using radio. Wow. So that alone should say it all.
Sure.
They need to catch up.
They need to catch up, as Esinam says. Debbie.
Yes, I also like the fact when he said that the world is moving forward and it will never come back. It's a stage.
Yeah.
The traditional media was there, we were there. Now we've taken another step forward.
Yeah.
And so no matter what, you cannot drag us back. And you
they
see,
should rather follow suit.
Yes. And you see, like when it comes to Gen Z's like this, we like to do our things in a way that sometimes, like when you think, you'll be like, what is it but? I mean, that's the new normal, so you just have to go buy it. You cannot buy graphic. Sometimes the bag you are holding, the graphic will not even go into the bag. And so with the phone, it's very easy. Even we have radio on the phone.
Yeah.
So it's very accessible, and then you can actually get your info and everything on this. Yes, it will affect the businesses of the traditional media, but they have to upgrade themselves and move as the world also moves. As the world always get behind.
Move as the world also moves. Now this is where we will be ending our conversation today on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Now before we go, the Ghana Talks Radio is open to advertisements of your products, whatever you are selling, whatever you want to market. Our platform, our studios are available to you. Call us on 0202-544-614. Message us on 0202-544-614, and we will interact with you, give you our cool rates. They are so affordable. I've never seen anything like this before. Look at the numbers, the reach. Look at the people we reach globally. And so giving this this is over affordable. This one so contact us and we will give you the affordable rates you can ever get anywhere. And your markets will sell, your products will market from Konongo to Buesia to.
Before we go here, I want to add my voice with regards with the social media thing. That is why I'll urge you all to download our mobile app, Ghana Talks Radio. You can be in Bolga and you still tune into Ghana Talks Radio. You can be in any part of the country and you still tune into Ghana Talks Radio, because social media is the new age. You get me? It's the new age. Everything is online. Just download the app.
Just download
join
it.
Our breakfast show.
Join our breakfast show.
Dubai.
In the skies. Enjoying the sky tree. You'll be enjoying Ghana breakfast show, Charlie. So that is where we leave you. DJ Rock will take over very soon to give you some sweet vibes in the music industry. I've heard some new tunes coming in. Hey, I need to get my dancing shoes on. Hey. So yes, stay tuned to Ghana Talks Radio. Join us on all our social media platforms as we leave you today. We will come your way same time tomorrow morning. Don't forget to use the hashtag always as you interact with us. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.